Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat. I'd like to be joined for the second time this week by Paul Kelly. Today, we're just going to be doing a short video of all the best odds in the world of boxing for this weekend, outside of the big fight that is Chris Eubank Jr. against Liam Williams, which we did yesterday. Please check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, we are going to be focusing on undercard fights, US fights, whatever takes our fancy. Paul, thanks for your time again this week. Go straight into it. What is your first betting tip this week that you want to share with us?
I think there's quite a few good cards on worldwide. Obviously, it's the first one we've had back in the UK, but in America and worldwide, there's a few fights that kind of jumped out at me, and then I had a look at the odds and thought, you know what, that's not bad odds at all. And the first one I'd like to bring up, I don't know, I feel like this might be an unpopular pick with some people, but I don't think Keith Thurman is going to beat Barrios.
Okay.
I think Barrios is going to win, and just the win is 11-8. And I think that if he is going to win, it's going to be on points. So if you wanted to be a little bit more, you wanted to get a bit more, get better odds, it's 10-3 for him to win on points. And the reason I say this is, yes, Thurman at one point was probably regarded as one of the best welterweights in the world, not so long ago. But he's had 2 fights in 5 years, and hasn't fought since July 2019.
Yeah.
And inactivity for me is just a killer. We see it so many times. No matter how good you are, if you're a wee bit inactive, you're always. I know they all say, "Oh yeah, but I've been training away and sparring. I'm not rusty," but it's not the same thing. Actually, being under the lights on fight night, it's not the same thing. So I think that Barrios could come through that fight and beat Keith Thurman. His only defeat came to Tank Davis, obviously, and I just think that with the layoff that Thurman's had and Barrios has been far more active, I think that he could definitely get the win this weekend. That's my first one. Nice
one. I think it's an interesting one because I think, as you know, Keith Thurman has been inactive, was a top welterweight, and in my opinion, kind of there's one thing being a year out the ring, a year and a half out the ring. When it gets to 2.5 years, you got to question whether that fight is going to kind of return to the level that they were at.
Yeah,
and he's coming against Mario Barrios, who is a good fighter. We've seen that. Another thing that's interesting for me is that Mario Barrios is coming up in weight for this fight.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously campaigned at super lightweight, so how much power is he going to possess at welterweight? So from all sorts of different angles, it's an interesting fight, which means on a betting scale, it makes it interesting as well. But yeah, interesting that's your first tip. This is a first for us because I know we don't really speak before this call, but my first tip is actually Barrios to win on points as well. Not gonna go over it as well, but I think that's a really good shout. 10-3, a very good odds. Obviously, could he win by KO? Possibly. We know Keith Thurman's lost one fight, and it's been on points, but he got put down in that fight by Manny Pacquiao. So yeah, we are sharing the first tip, and we will move on. Paul, what is your second tip for us?
The second one I'm going to go for is Luis Neri to beat Carlos Castro. Again, I think it's quite a close fight, but I make Neri the favourite. You know, if I hadn't have looked at the odds and I had to guess some odds, I would have thought the Neri would have been not a heavy favourite, but heavy enough favourite. But you can get him at a good price of 8-15, which still short enough odds. But I think that I'm very confident that he'll win and bounce back after his defeat to Brandon Figueroa. I do see him. I just think he might be too strong for Castro. Again, could be completely wrong like last week. Remember when I said about the Brazilian boxer? I can't remember his name now, but Brazilian boxer, I was like, he's going to get beat. He ended up winning.
Conceição,
yeah. That's the one. Well, obviously I was wrong on that. But no, this one I do think, on paper close enough, but Neri worthy favourite, 8-15. I think if you want to maybe put it in a double or a treble, which I'm sure we'll come on to at the end, is a good one to boost your ACA odds.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I think big fan of Luis Neri. I think he's still a force to be reckoned with in the world of boxing, and he's bouncing back from his only defeat so far in his career against Figueroa, against a good undefeated fighter when he probably didn't have to do that. Cool. No, interested to see how this is developing. My second one, we're heading back to Cardiff on the Eubank Williams undercard. A fight that I think was only announced a couple of weeks ago. Local, Welshman Chris Jenkins is fighting Julius Indongo, who fought Ricky Burns quite a long time ago and fought at a really high level. He's possibly past his best. The fight's only, I believe, is only 8 rounds. It's not for a title or anything like that. But I think that Chris Jenkins is coming off a defeat against Eko Essuman, and Julius Ndongo is as well. But Ndongo's fought at a much higher level, to be fair, than Chris Jenkins has. And it may be a case of where Ndongo's at in his career. Anyway, you can get odds of 7-4 for Ndongo to win the fight, which I think are good. And if I'm being honest with you, if you said to me, what's your prediction, I'd probably lean towards Ndongo as well, personally. Julius Ndongo 7-4, 8 rounds to beat Chris Jenkins.
Yeah, I think that's great odds. He boxed really well. I know it was probably about 5 years ago now, was it, against Ricky Burns? But then even if you look at Ricky Burns since then, he's still regarded as one of the best Brits in his division.
Yeah.
So at the time, great win. I know he then obviously went and tried to unify Ndongo with the fight against Crawford. But this is Terence Crawford we're talking about. Yeah. Jenkins is Terence Crawford. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it will be a close fight, and it's a matter of how much Ndongo has left. But yes, at 7-4, I think that's probably a bit of a generous price. So I think that's a good tip of it. Yeah,
just taking a look. Ndongo's 38, but he's only had 27 fights, so he's actually had less fights than Chris Jenkins. And I thought one thing he's big as he has been stopped a few times, but he's fought good opposition. He's not fought the guys who he's lost to are kind of a level above Chris Jenkins. So we will see. Looking forward to that fight. Looking forward to the outcome. Did you have one more for us, Paul, or was that it?
I did, and the one I'm going to mention is, again, I don't know whether it's because I interviewed her during the week, but I really do think that Carly Skelly could go over to America and beat Jamie Mitchell. I know we saw Jamie Mitchell. That'll probably come to quite a shock. That's quite a shock to some people. We saw Jamie Mitchell last time beating Shannon Courtney, but that was a Shannon Courtney, in my opinion, who obviously missed weight, so was struggling a wee bit with weight and stuff like that. And I just think that Carly Skelly, we saw her as the underdog against Amy Timlin. I know Amy Timlin's wasn't world champion, but she was a big underdog in that fight, Carly Skelly, and 99% of the people think she won that fight. Although what got put down as a draw. I think she enjoys being the underdog. There's no pressure on her. Nobody's expecting her to go over to America to beat Jamie Mitchell, apart from herself. And I really do think that she has a good chance. Because although Mitchell was impressive enough against Shannon Courtney, I don't think that she's the best in the division. I'm not saying Carly Skelly is, but I don't think Jamie Mitchell's the best bantamweight that we have in women's boxing. So I think that at 5-1, yes, she's the underdog. If she does win, it'll be an amazing upset. But 5-1 is very generous, I think, just to win. I'm sure there's no odds on it yet, but I'm sure points probably be likely. You probably even get that at better odds of 13-2, 7-1 or something like that. So I thought, yeah, why not? Back Carly Skelly to bring the title back to Liverpool.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a Brit fighting for world titles. These things should be getting attention, should be celebrated. And yeah, looking forward to it. Hope Carly Skelly goes over there and does it. I think she's got a great chance. So yeah, we will see. Cool. No, thank you for that, Paul. As always, going to ask if you put those 3 bets into a treble, and yeah, if you put say a tenner down, what would your return be?
Well, if you put the Barrios to win, the Neri to win, and Carly Skelly all just to win, it's 22-1. Obviously, the Skelly odds is putting that straight up, so a tenner would return £230.
Okay.
A double of just Barrios to win and Neri to win is just short of 3-1. So I think that if you're kind of looking a bit of a kind of just a cash building, money making one, not too mad at the odds. I think Neri and Barrios to win in the double. If just under 3-1, I think that's safe money.
Nice one. Yeah, nice. Sounds really good. Final one from me, yeah. So Barrios by decision and Julius Ndongo is 10-1. So 10 would return you £100. So not too risky. I like the sound of it personally. Depends what sort of mood you're in. But yeah, it's nice to have perhaps maybe a few more fights to cover this week than we have done for the last couple of weeks. We've had to go searching a little bit. Cool. I think that's it for us, Paul. Thanks for joining me, and I will definitely catch you next week for another episode.
Cheers, Eliot. All the best.